So hello everyone, good morning once again and welcome back to your sorting techniques. So previously we have discussed some sorting texting and today also we are going to discuss one more sorting technique related to your bubble sort. In the previous session, we have discussed about something called as bubble sort, right? And in this we have seen how the smallest elements are getting bubbled up onto the top and how exactly that particular algorithm works, the mechanism internally, how exactly it works in order to sort those elements in a sequential order and arranging them in ascending. So here when we are discussing about sorting, you people can do it either in ascending or descending order. That depends upon the way you wanted to do it. Typically here whatever we did is we actually written the logic in bubble sort using something called as ascending order. We have used the concept of ascending order in order to represent, means from small to big element we have represented it. But in case if you wanted to represent from big to small, then definitely the logic, there will be small changes in the logic which you people can do it up based upon your creative skills. Okay. So today, in this particular session, we'll be discussing about something called as insertion sort. Okay, remember this insertion and selection sort. What I'm talking about in this particular case, these are what we call it as in-place sorting algorithms. So these are in-place sorting algorithms. We call it as in-place. Why we are calling it as in-place in this particular scenario is nothing but here we will be trying to sort the elements within the array whatever is provided within this size, whatever the array is presented here. Within this only we will try to sort it up, okay, without taking any additional support like temporary array or what auxiliary array. Auxiliary array in the sense is nothing but temporary array. We will be using it in order to store the elements. But here in this case, if you see here insertion this and bubble sort also, you people, we are providing in place, means we are using the same array what has been provided here, and within that we are actually storing the elements step by step. So that's why we call them as in-place sorting algorithms. Why I'm actually focusing on that this particular thing or the word here is because in exam sometimes he asks that sort the given elements using any one of the in-place sorting algorithms. So don't get confused. In-place means either you can use insertion sort or selection sort. In between these two, you people can use any one of the sorting technique for implementation. So coming to the insertion short here, okay, before this is a small introduction related to that, which we have already discussed in the previous session. So that is nothing but what do you mean by sorting and what are the different type of sortings we do have. So that is internal and external sorting. So coming to insertion short here, well, this is also one of the sorting technique what we have. This is a simple sorting technique because logic whatever we are going to use in this particular sorting will be very simple. And here it is going to sort the array in a systematic way in which when it is performing this sorting of this particular elements, it will be doing one element at a time. What do you mean by one element at a time is nothing but mm, suppose we are having, so we are actually having an array like this, and there are some elements that are present in this 0 1 2 3. There are some elements that are present in this. So insertion short, what it is going to do is at a time it will try to sort, suppose the whatever the ascending, so we are going to arrange them in ascending order, okay, small to big. So whichever the smallest element is present in this particular array A, so that will be first, that will be placed in this location. Okay, for example, suppose we have the value something called 5 3 1 4. Now if I ask you that what is the shortest element, what is the, we have which is the smallest element we do have among these four, you will be easily able to identify that is 1. Now insertion short, what it will do is it will try to place this particular 1 at this particular location. Means at one iteration or one particular pass, it will be placing the smallest element whatever is there within this particular array into the first position. And in the next iterations, I think you people can understand that is nothing but looping. So after first iteration, now in the second iteration, it will try to place the second smallest element. Okay, the second smallest element what is there, that will be placed in this particular element. So what is the second smallest element? If you can see onto the screen, you can see that 3 is the second smallest element you are having. So that will be placed here, means this particular slot is fixed after first iteration. Then after that, the second slot has been fixed. Then again it will be coming here something called as 4, and then finally 5. So this is the way how it is going to do it. Then how exactly this particular insertion sort works here, the mechanism is very simple. Let me explain it. So we have something called as 5, 3, 1, 4. So what we are going to do is we will take one temporary variable. We are going to take a temporary variable here. So some memory is allocated to that variable. Now, what we are going to do is we will assume that this is a place we have to keep the first smallest element, right? This is a location that is a of 0, where I wanted to place the first smallest element that is present among this. So what I'm going to do is how the exactly this insertion sort works is in the first iteration when it is performing it, what it will do, it will first fix this slot. This particular slot it will fix, and it will take the next element to that particular location, that is 3, and that 3 will be stored in this particular location. Okay, and now this 3 will be compared with the remaining elements that are present in this particular location. So that is nothing but something, you can see a 5 and 3. So among this what it will do is which one is shortest here, 3 or 5. So basically people can easily understand that 3 is shortest. So automatically what the system is going to do is it will try to replace the element present in the location 1. It will try to replace the element that is present in this particular location. So here this location it will change. So here, so what it is going, okay, what exactly it is going to do here is it will remove 5 from here, and it will be simply placing 5 in this particular location. And after that, the system, I mean, this algorithm will be checking whether there are any other elements present here to compare. Since there is only one element there, we have compared it. Then finally, this 3 will be placed here, and then this particular temporary variable becomes empty. Okay. So if you see here, you got here, we have in the first iteration, you got this particular location. In the next iteration, what you people are going, this is a first iteration, I equal to 1. Then in the second iteration, that is when second time the loop runs. Now what happened here, we will take the next element that is present here, that is 1. Okay, we are going to see this particular element here, and this element will be searching with the remaining elements what we have in the previously. So first thing what we are going to do is here simply I will be actually placing that particular 1 and this particular temporary variable first. Now this particular variable 1 will be compared with the previous array, whatever the value we have. So that is 1 is compared with 5. You know that 1 is less than 5. Yes, isn't it? So definitely what we have to do, we will be doing something called, we will see, remember we are not, I'm not calling the terminology called a swap, because there is only one element that is getting exchanged. Since 1 is less than 5, so 5 will be placed in this particular location. And after that, what happens? This 1 will be compared with the next location which is present here. So 1 is less than 3. You know that 1 is less than 3. So what we need to do? We need to simply place it into its next location, that is 3. And then finally, this 1 will be placed here in this particular location. And this will be empty. This is a way how this insertion sort works. And after this, what we have to do now we have to fix the next element what we have in this particular location. That is nothing but 4. So I will be bringing 4 in this particular scenario. Okay, so when I'm bringing 4 in this particular scenario, this 4 will be compared with first 5. So you know that 4 is less than 5, obviously. So what you people are going to do is you'll simply replace this particular 5. We'll move that particular 5 to the specific location where it has to be. Then again 4 will be compared with 3. 4 will be compared with 3. 4 is less than 3. No, this time that particular condition is going to fail. So automatically we don't have to search further, because you know that 4 is greater than 3, and we don't have any other element to search here. So similarly, you can place that particular 4 here. And finally, you people will be getting a sorted list, whatever you are seeing here. So this is the way how exactly this particular algorithm is going to work. Okay, so let's see them one by one. So the idea, so this is the idea whatever we do have with respect to this. So the idea behind insertion sort is that where every element should be placed in a proper place, okay, in the final list. So whatever the final list we are getting in the end, we will be placing them in a sorted order, that is in a sequential order, in ascending order from small to big. So here, so how this particular algorithm works, as I told you here, so this particular algorithm will be moving the current data element pass the already sorted value. So already means nothing but as we have seen in the array, we have selected one of the variable first. Okay, like this is a variable we have selected. Now this variable will be checked. That is what is saying by moving the current data. So this is the current data. We will be placing them to the already sorted order. If you see here, we are assuming that this particular place is sorted, and with this we are comparing it. And if it is not, then we are simply placing this value here, and this value we are placing it in here. In the next iteration, I am selecting this value, and this value I am checking. So if here it is assuming that these two places are sorted now. So this value will be selecting this particular variable first. Wait, let me explain it once. So here, if you take something like this, what is the technique? What is the second point he's talking about here is that we are going to move the current data element past the already sorted. What do you mean by sorted is I have initially taken this particular location, right? I am assuming that this position is sorted. I'm assuming that this particular position is sorted. From here, we are going to perform the operation. So I'm selecting this variable and I'm checking with this particular variable. If this particular value is less than this particular value, then what I'm doing here, simply I am moving this particular value into this particular location. And this value I'm simply locating in this, but I'm not swapping it because I have to compare it. Since there is only one element we are comparing, you may be feeling like it is swapping, but we are not swapping. We are simply changing the values here. Next, what I'm doing, I'm selecting this position. This position I'm selecting as fixed. Now this position, when I'm selecting it, the system assumes that these two locations, whatever you people are seeing, these two are in a sorted order. These two are in a sorted order. So this I will explain it with the help of example. I'll get a clarity. So here, this particular position, what I am going to do now, I'll compare with this particular location. If the value present in this location is less than the value present here, what I need to do, I need to move this particular value into this particular location. Then again, the value I'm storing in temp. So that value, whatever the value that is present here, that I have to compare with this. And even if this value is less than this, then I have to shift this to this particular location. And then finally, whatever the value we have in temp, I'm going to store it in this particular location. So this is the way how we are going to exactly sort all the elements in this particular scenario. That is the same technique we are going to use in this particular thing. But when compared to other sorting techniques, what we have something like quicksort and merge sort, this is not that much efficient when compared to them. This, as I told you, that this is also having some drawbacks, same like your bubble sort, selection and insertion sort. These cannot be implemented when we have large number of lists. If you have more number of lists we are having here, then these techniques are not efficient. These are only efficient when you have simpler, less number of lists in your particular array or whatever it is, and then based on that you can perform the operation. But if you are having huge number of elements in a list, then it is highly impossible. Means it will sort it out in a sequential way, no problem in that. But the time complexity of executing that particular program will be very, very high. So where you people are actually sorting 10 elements or 15 elements or 50 elements, if you start sorting using insertion sort for 100 elements, 1000 elements or 10,000 elements, definitely the program is going to take a lot of time in order to sort it up. So that is the means as the list keeps on increasing, the complexity of that particular program also keeps on increasing. So here coming to the techniques here. So what we are going to use that we will be having an array, and that array will be divided into two sets. Two set is nothing but he is assuming that one set is in a sorted order and the remaining are unsorted order, and that order we will that again unsorted list we are going to sort it up. That is what it is going to do in this particular case. Now here the sorting algorithm will proceed until okay, that is what is saying. So here what this algorithm will keep on repeating until there is unsorted elements present in it. Once all the elements are sorted, this algorithm is going to terminate. So let us suppose that there are n elements are present here in this particular thing. So initially we will take a index 0 as I told you, as I represented here. So the first element I am fixing it up. I am assuming that this is in a sorted order. So what is the index of that particular position is 0. So he is selecting that particular index as, and is assuming that that particular value is sorted. Now with that, these remaining elements, whatever are there, this is what is calling it as unsorted array. Okay, this is a sorted array. This is a unsorted array. Now from here, unsorted array, one element I'll take at a time and I'll compare with the sorted one. That is what he's saying here, dividing into two sets. Dividing into two sets doesn't mean that you'll be having two separate sets. He means to say that he will first select this. This he is assuming as a sorted array. Now remaining elements 1, 2, 3. These three elements are comes under unsorted array. Now among this unsorted array, he will select this one and he will compare with this. Based on that, he will perform the operation interchange. Now what will happen? These two lists will be coming into a sorted array. Now in unsorted array, you people are having only two elements. Now you will select this element, you will compare with this, and then you will compare with this. And the exact position wherever the exact position is there for this particular location, you will store it. Then what happened? The first three will be coming into a sorted array, and there is only one element present in a unsorted array. And finally you will be comparing with this with the remaining, and finally you will be placing in the appropriate plate. This is the way how exactly this particular algorithm works. That is what is saying, two sets. That doesn't mean that there will be a separate set. So here the first element of the unsorted partition has index 1, and this is the one from where we will start comparing with the previous one, and one by one we will be sorting it up, and then we are going to place it up. So here, forget about this particular thing. You just focus on the first thing. First, let me explain you the algorithm, and then we'll go for that the remaining portion. Okay. So first thing, insertion short. This is a very simple algorithm. You can see here. This is the logic, or you can say this is algorithm. What we do have. So initially we'll start with one. Why I'm starting with one here in this particular case? Okay. Let me take the diagram first. Now these are the values which we have. I have total 5 values here: 500, 1, 50, 23, and 76. I wanted to sort them in a sequential order. Okay, so what is the sequential order we get is 1, 23, 50, 76, and finally 500. This is the one what we have to get it here. Now let me show you the again. So this is what the place we are having. Now you know that this is the location 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the array. This is the array A which I have taken here. Now I am starting the location from I equal to 1. Remember, see here, why I'm not starting with I equal to 0 here? Because I said that this in insertion short will assume that the first element that is present in the box is already sorted. This is what I'm assuming, that this is already sorted. So I'm assuming that 500 is already in the fixed location. This is in a sorted one. This position is sorted. I'm fixing. Now I will be comparing the next. So this is your sorted array, and remaining this what you people are saying, this will come under unsorted array list, and this unsorted array list we will be sorting it up. That's the reason I have started with I equal to 1. So as you know that I am going to take a temporary variable here where I'm going to store this particular value 1. So that's where temp equal to a of I. What is the value of I right now? 1. So a of 1 is nothing but this is a of 1 is consist of something called as 1. So that value I'm storing in this particular temporary variable. So this is the value which I'm going to store in this particular variable. Now what is the next step? J equal to I minus 1. Now this particular value I need to compare which particular value? 500, the previous one, and it is present in which location? 0. So definitely I should compare a of 1 with 0. So that's the reason I'm doing this particular second step. J equal to I minus 1. What is the value of I here? 1. So j equal to 1 minus 1. So j value will be coming as 0. So j value becomes 0. Now I will start comparing it. While, so here we are using a while statement for comparison. So while temp is less than a of j. So what is the value present in this temp here? 1. So when 1 is less than a of j, what is the value of j we got here initially? J equal to 1 minus 1. So that is 0. So a of 0. So this is a variable a. So a of 0 is how much? What is the value we have? 500. Well, 1 is less than 500 and 0 is greater than equal to 0. Well, it is equal to 0. So this condition is true. And even this condition is true. 1 is less than 500. So what did I say? What we need to do? We need to interchange the position of this particular value. So this value should come to this particular location. So a of j plus 1 is equal to a of j. So what is the value of j we have here? 0. So a of 0 plus 1 is a of 1. So a of 1 is equal to a of j. What is the value of j? 0. So a of 1 is equal to a of 0. So a of 0 What is the value we have in a of 0 here? 500. This 500 we are going to write it. So where we are going to store that value? A of 1. So what happened now? The value has been interchanged. The value has been interchanged here. So here, after this execution of the statement, a of 1 consists of 500, means a of 1, this will consist of 500. Okay, and then this particular place is empty now, and here we need to place something. So again, j minus minus we are doing it. So what is the value of j? Initially 0. So j minus minus means j will become minus 1. Remember here, j becomes minus 1. What does that mean here? That particular, there are no more elements present to compare, because that array usually starts with 0. But right now the position is minus 1 of j. But minus 1, we don't have any elements. We don't have a concept of minus 1. It is used to represent that there are no more elements to compare. So j equal to minus 1. Again, this particular condition will start. 1 is less than a of j. A of minus 1, we don't have anything. This condition fails. Same way here also, minus 1 greater than equal to 0. No, this condition is failing. Simply we will be terminating this particular while statement, and finally we will be executing this particular statement. So a of j plus 1. What is the value of j we have? Minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 equal to temp. So in the temp, we have stored the value called as 1. So that 1 is here. So minus 1 plus 1 means, it is nothing but 0. So a of 0 is equal to 1. So what happened here now in this place? So a of 0 will be coming here. So you are going to store the value called as 1. So you can see here 1, 500 here. Okay, and after that what we are going to do again, from here again the looping will start. Now this time the value becomes 2. That is the second iteration, this one. So let me show you graphically first, and then we will see one by one how exactly this particular thing works. So when iteration 1, when I value is equal to 1, so this one, so whatever I have explained just now, that is going to take place here. So I'm going to take a temporary variable here, and in that I have stored the first value. That is the value which I am going to check here. So I have placed that value in this temporary location. Now this I am going to compare with 500. And you know that 500, 1 is less than 500. So I need to interchange that position. So this 500 came to this particular location. You can clearly see it. And after that, do we have any other variable, values onto the left hand side to verify? We don't have it. So finally, what I have to do ultimately, this one I have to place it in this particular location. So this is after first iteration, I have got one, sorry. So after first iteration, you people can see that the first, so I got 1 here, 500 here, 50, 23, 76. So I got the smallest element getting placed in this particular location, that is something called as 1. So after first iteration, this position is fixed now. This will not change because it has the smallest element, whatever is present in the array, placed in this particular location. Now we will go to the next one. When the iteration is equal to 2. Okay, so in the next case, that is the I value becomes 2 here. I is getting incremented now. 2 is less than, how many elements we have? 5. 2 is less than 5. Condition satisfied. Again, you are entering into this particular loop. So temp equal, okay, let me write it here. Temp equal to a of 5. What is the value of I right now? 2. So a of 2. What is the value present in a of 2? If you see 0, 1, 2. That's why I highlighted with this. Now this particular variable, this value will be placed in this particular temp. So 50. That is what I'm doing here. So temp equal to a of 2 means temp will be having now 50. Now this particular slot will be empty now. So after this, what I need to do? J equal to. So I need to compare this position with this particular position 1. So definitely it should be decremented. So j equal to I minus 1. So what is the value of I am using here? 2. So j is equal to 2 minus 1. So that is nothing but j. Now start comparing while temp is less than a of j. What is the value of j? 1. So what is the value we have in temp here? 50. So if 50 is less than a of 1, what is the value we have in a of 1 here? 500. So, well, 50 is less than, okay, this condition satisfied. But with this, we have another condition also here, J. So that is nothing but 1 is greater than equal to 0. Well, this condition also satisfied. So we will be doing interchanging the values. So A of J plus 1 is equal to J. So A of J, what is the value of J we have here? 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2 equal to A of J. So A of 1. So what is the value we have in this A of 1? 500. Now this 500 we are placing in A of 2. So that means that 500 is coming up here. You can see here. So 0, 1, 2. So A of 2 is having 500. So that 500 came up. Now this particular element 50 should be compared with the next element that is present. Earlier we didn't have any element. Now what we are doing, J minus minus. What is the value of J here? 1. So J minus minus becomes J equal to 0. J will be becoming 0. And again you will be checking this particular condition. Now this time how it is going to come? So J minus minus means you people got the new value J equal to 0. I will write it up here so that we can clarity understand. So here J becomes equal to how much? 0. Now J is 0. Now check the condition. Well, temp is less than A of 0 and 0 is greater than equal to 0. Well, this condition is true. It is 0 is equal to 0. And what is the value of temp we had here? 50. 50 is less than A of 0. What is the value we have in 50, A of 0? 1. Is 50 less than 1? No. I guess it is no, right? So definitely this condition failed. Since we have used logical and here, so both the conditions are true, then only you can enter that. But that means the condition is true, then only you can enter and you can execute. So this condition fails. This particular condition fails. You will be coming to this particular location. Now you will be storing the value. So that is nothing but A of J plus 1. So what is the value of J we had here? 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. A of 1 is equal to temp. And in the temp, you are having the value something called as 50. So A of 1, you are going to place it as 50. So you can see here, you people have got here 50 and here you people have got as 500. So after second iteration, this is the value you got it. So let me show you with animation. So you people can see when iteration 2 is doing it here, when I equal to 2. So I am going to select these two. So that 50 should come up here in this particular location, right? See here, when iteration is equal to 2, I equal to 2, I am going to select this element. So I equal to 2 means we are selecting the second element. So that is 0, 1, 2. Now this element I am going to store it in something called as a array, temporary array 50. Now this 50 I am going to compare with 500. So you can see a blue color coming here. So 50 is less than 500. Condition is satisfied. 50 is less than 500. So what I need to do? I need to simply move that to the next position. So you can see that 50 has 500 has come up here. And now again this 50 has to be compared with 1. I mean, the next element is present. You know that 50 will never be less than 1. So finally, the condition here is failing and you will be storing this in the exact position where it requires. That is nothing but A of 1. So finally 1, 50, 500, 23, 76. Now this is second iteration. Now when you go to the third iteration, I am going to select which element here? 23. And this 23 will be compared with this and this. And wherever the exact position for the 23 will be there, we are going to place it up. See here. So when the iteration 3 has come up here, I equal to 3. So I'm going to select 23. You people can see here that 23 first I will store it in a temporary variable. And now this 23 will be compared with first 500. You can see here I am comparing this with 500. So is 23 is less than 500? Yes, 23 is less than 500. What I need to do, I had to simply increment this to the next location. So how, I mean, move to the next location. So how we can do it with the help of this logic, and then what will happen, that 500 will be moving to that particular location. Now this 23 should be compared with something called as 50. So you'll be comparing, is 23 is less than 50? Yes. Then what we need to do? We need to simply move this 50 to the next location. Yes, it is completed. Now we have to compare this 23 with the values that is called as 1. So we are comparing with that, and you know that 23 will never be less than 1. So there the condition, this while condition fails. So we need to execute this statement. And finally, you're going to store the value of 23 into this particular location. So finally, what is the output you people have got here is 1, 23, 50, 576. Now when iteration 4 takes place here, I mean fourth time when this particular, so here I value is equal to 4, 4 is less than 5, and again this particular loop is going to run. This is the fourth time when we are going to run. Then this particular value will be selected, and this will be compared with this and this. But when it is compared with this particular element, you know that 76 will never be less than 50. Condition fails, so you don't have to check this one. Directly you can store the value 76 here and finally 500 in this particular location. Let's see it animatedly. So 123, 50, 500 this. Now I'm going to apply the fourth iteration when the value of I is equal to 4 here. Now here what I'm doing it. So first I'll be selecting that 76, and this value I have again I have to store it in temp equal to a of 4. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So temp equal to a of 4. So that is nothing but temporary will have something called as 76. And that I'm going to represent here 76. Now this will be compared with 500 first. So you know that 76 is less than 500, and what is the value of j here? 3. 3 is greater than equal to 0. So definitely it is going to execute it. So simply what he is going to do, the 76 will be compared with 500. Now it will simply shift it to 500 to the next location. Now we have to compare 76 with 50. And you know that 76 will never be less than 50, isn't it? 76 can never be less than 50. So simply what happens here, this particular while condition terminates. Because this condition fails, we terminate. We'll come out of here and we will execute this particular location. So A of j plus 1. So that is nothing but 3. A of 3 equal to temp. What is the value we have? 6. That 76 will be placing it here. So that is the next diagram. And you can see that we have already got a sorted order 1, 23, 50, 76, and then finally 500. Now this is the way how your exactly this particular algorithm works. This is one of the simplest insertion sort algorithm that we do have, and this is the logic you have. So if you see here, it's hardly some 6 lines of code, I guess. If you remove this one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lines of code. That's it, and your insertion short is completed. With 7 lines, you people are able to complete this entire insertion short. And this is the way how exactly. This is a in place because why I'm calling it as in place is I'm using only one temporary variable here, and remaining all I'm doing it within this. I'm not using any auxiliary variable to change. Like when we used to do swapping in bubble sort, we used to do temp equal to something, then a equal to b, then b equal to temp, something like this we used to do. But here we are not doing such kind of activity. I am using a temporary variable, that's for sure. But this one I am using only for comparison purpose, not for swapping purpose. So whatever the values I am moving here, that is within this particular array, whichever we have used it. So that means it is a in-place sorting algorithm. It's a in-place sorting algorithm. Okay. So let's go ahead and see the performance analysis of this particular insertion short here. So if you ask me about the complexity of the insertion short, this is somewhat typical here. If you talk about the best case, okay, we know that in the complexities are generally classified in either best case, worst case, and average case. If you talk about the best case, here it is assume that the whatever the array you people are taking, it is in already in a sorted order. Okay, insertion sort we are using it for sorting the unsorted list. But here he is assuming that let us suppose that you have given a sorted list. You wanted to sort the elements, but you have already given a sorted array only, like something like 1, 2, 3, 4. It is already sorted. So in that case, what is the time complexity you people are going to get is order of n. Okay, this is the order you people are going to get, order of n. But in case you people are giving it in a reverse order, 4, 3, 2, 1, or you people are having unsorted list, that is a worst case, then definitely whatever the insertion short you people are going to get, that will be having a quadratic running time. quadratic running time. Means it has to compare the elements, previous elements, how many we have, that many elements. So it is going to take something called as order of n square of time in order to perform it. Okay, please do remember, if normally someone asks you what is the complexity of insertion sort, you have to say that it is n square. Why? Because when you are performing worst case and when you are performing something called as average case, your sorting, I mean your time complexity will be always order of n square. See here. When you're performing worst case and when you're performing average case, the time complexity what you people are going to get is order of n square. So basically, whenever someone asks you what is the normal complexity of an insertion shot, you can simply say that it is order of n square. But if someone asks you what is the complexity of an insertion shot when it is in best case, you have to say, sir, it is order of n. But if it is worst and average, it will be order of n square, because n number of whatever the elements we have, n is nothing but number of elements. And this number of elements we need to compare again with n number of elements. So n into n, that is nothing but n square. So n square number of times that particular sorting technique or that particular comparisons will be done. N square means, for example, if you are giving 7 elements, let us suppose you are given 7 elements, so it will be doing 49 comparisons. N square is nothing but comparisons. For example, if you're giving 10 elements, so it is going to do 100 comparisons. And see, the complexity is increasing now. If you have given 100 elements, okay, so what is our now comparison here? 10,000 comparisons has to be done. So if you assume that if you're giving 1,000 elements in a list, you are giving an array of size 1,000, and in that you're giving the elements. So now let just imagine it. So double it is 3, 3. So it's once 3, 4, 5. Okay, one more 6, 0. So once tens, 100,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh. So if you're giving 1,000 elements in a list, 10,000, 10 lakh comparisons has to be done in order to sort them up. And you can clearly understand 10 lakh sorting means what is going to happen. It will take a lot of time. So definitely the time complexity is going to increase. So this is what we have with respect to this particular thing. And what are the advantages of insertion sort is that it can be applied in small set of data. You people understand easily. As I told you that we can apply for a smaller set of data. But whereas coming to if you are using, okay, wherever data set is sorted, there the most interesting point here, it performs better when compared to other sorting sort. And here he has given the insertion sort with bubble sort. It is twice as fast as bubble sort. It is twice as fast as means bubble sort, it works whatever the bubble sort time complexity is there, much more faster than that it is going to work twice. But whereas coming to selection sort, if you are comparing this insertion sort, it is 40% faster than selection sort. Wow, what a much more, very 40% is a huge amount, you can see. So 40% faster than selection. We will discuss selection sort also. That is also one of the easiest topic we do have here in this particular unit. So here, just remember that insertion sort is 40% faster than selection sort, whereas coming to bubble sort, it is twice as fast as bubble sort. And what about the time? I mean, the space complexity here. Since we have used only a temporary variable, single temporary variable, right? So for that, we require order of 1 because we have used only one auxiliary variable here. This is a temporary variable where we were storing the data to 50, whatever it is, and we are comparing it. So what is the space we are given? Only one space we have used. So order of 1. So that is what he's repeating. And that you can see here, it requires less memory space here, order of 1 of additional memory space. So I hope you people have understood this particular concept clearly. So this is the way how your insertion sort works. And this is the complexity what we do have with respect to your insertion sort. In the next video, we will be discussing about something called as selection sort. This is also similar. This is also very easy and we can apply it to the sorting technique. So this is all for today's session. Thank you. Thank you for watching.